Welcome to the Michigan Runner Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
Hi, Carter Sherline from Michigan Runner News. And I have with me the open male and female winners of the Michigan Runner Race Series for 2021, Alex and Kaylin Russeau. Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you.
And it's, we have a couple. So
Yeah.
Works out. and all the same races that you participated in. So I have that you both ran in the 3 events in the series, the North Mitten 13.1 mile, the Hurt the Dirt 13.1 mile, and the Mount Bald Head Challenge, which are one of our contributors was the editor when we were a print publication, is the race director of that one, Scott Sullivan. So, Kaylin, you're a repeat winner, and I had it wrong that I was thinking Alex was, but now he straightened me out. I didn't check my notes from last year, you ran the same races. So, what made you pick these races? Interplay between the two of you.
Yeah, well, we were really excited to see a lot of the events for up north, and we just love going up north. And every time we saw a race, we saw it as an opportunity to turn it into a camping trip, take our camper van up there, run the race, and then after that, we get our ice cream or post-race meal and celebrate. So the events that we chose, we knew that they were in really beautiful locations, and we've never ran trail races before, and we saw that as a really fun challenge, and it was beautiful. Like, we absolutely loved it. And so, North Mitten was a blast, and they all were different in their own way, but yeah, they were a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
the trail races were a target of ours to kind of run and to help, being that they were the longer distance races too. So they're on a weekend, we could get our long runs on a trail, and they're brand new trails, and the nicest thing about that is the course is marked, so you didn't have to sort of guess where you were in this foreign territory. You could just go out there and enjoy the scenery that you're in, and that was just a really cool experience. And like Kaylin had mentioned, every race was totally different. Like the North Mitten was a mixed kind of trails, and then
it was sand.
Yeah, and then Hurt the Dirt was kind of like this roller coaster feel on bike trail, so that was really unique. And then Mount Bald Head was just its own unique challenge.
Even more sand.
Yeah, a lot of sand. So for being on the east side of the state, it was nice to go west or north for all those races.
Okay, and you are from where?
Dundee, Michigan.
Dundee, okay. I thought so. Yep, a bit of a trip for you. So. So again, you talked a little about the specific races, but if you could tell us how your race personally went in each of the events. Start with North Mitten.
Okay. So North Mitten was an adventure because we got to the race a little bit late. So we were really practicing like good runner habits, like do your warm up, do your drills, go pick up your packet. We were grabbing our packet, and it was 5 minutes until the gun started. We grabbed our packets, got our jerseys on, and rushed over to the starting line. And they said 3, 2, 1. We're like, no! Yeah. So we didn't miss it, but we made it right on time. And I think the race adrenaline for me, I got out pretty quick because I was like just in a panic that I almost missed the race. And
that's a downhill to start with too.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Our first mile was pretty fast, like faster than I wanted to for that duration of a
Yeah,
race.
yeah.
So, and I had another female runner with me, and we worked together. And she was right on my tail pretty much the entire time. And she ended up like, I think I had to stop and for a moment, and then she ended up getting in front of me. So around like mile 7 through 9, we worked together, and then I ended up passing her, and then yeah, it was a beautiful race. And the end of the race was really fun because you had, I don't know if it's the 5Kers or 10Kers.
Oh yeah, 5Kers, I believe.
But they were on like maybe like the last mile of the course. And so just the energy from them, like you just talk to each other like, hey, good job, you're looking good, or keep it up, kind of thing. So, and it was a great finish. It was up a hill, so that was fun.
Same hill you started on, you had to come back up ski
That's right,
hill.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. But I really loved that course. I thought just the energy of the race was really special, and you could just tell like the people that put it on just really, they really loved it. And they put so much like effort. The community was there, and then there was trees there.
Yeah.
Like at the registration, if you wanted I don't know if you could get a shirt and a tree, but you could like plant a tree. So just like really fun environmental, cool things that they were doing. So
Absolutely.
yep.
and Alex, how does your race go that day?
Yeah, so my race went really well. Like Kaylin mentioned, probably the worst pre-meet we've ever had. Just showing up and running, but it was really great. Like the first mile, I ended up having a group of I think 4 guys with me, and it was one of those things that we were kind of running single file through the single track there, and it was nice to kind of have like a decent community, and there was a little bit of conversation going on. Kind of the whole excitement about the day ahead, and so that was really fun beginning of the race. And then once it hit onto the road, I began to separate from the pack. I think it's about 3 miles, and just sort of had to run my own race from that point on. And it was a good challenge. I think the Masters winner, Sam Darling, I think who's the overall winner, he was second in that race, and so he ran a tough race. I mean, he was within contact for much of it for me, and probably wasn't until about mile 7 that I was able to like completely lose him on some of the straightaways. So once he lost visual contact to me, it was kind of just we're running our own races at that point, and then the trail started to wind. But it was really cool. And like I said, it was a mixed terrain race where it was on road, and then went on single track, and then went dirt road, and then back to some single track, and then finished on pavement. So it was just this kind of really unique hybrid race, and then finishing at Crystal Mountain was just a really cool atmosphere. And so like Kaylin mentioned, race organization was great for it. And it was our first race that we had done in person since the pandemic had started, I believe, or at least for me. I think she had run one race.
5K, but yeah, that was the first one.
So it was the first one for me. So it was just really cool to like get that whole race day experience again.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you're familiar with the same race organization, North Minton puts on another race now. They brought back from the dead another race that runs on those same trails, but I guess basically goes the opposite direction. It's not exactly the case, but starts
Awesome.
in Thompsonville. So you might look into that, the Betsy Valley Trail Run. And,
Perfect.
I know they start in the park, so it's maybe a little less dramatic of a start finish, but also an interesting race. I photographed that one as well.
Sounds like a nice excuse to go north again.
Yes.
And then Hurt the Dirt.
All right. That one was a 2-looper.
Yeah.
So that one was very much for me. I always feel like the first mile I'm just always not ready quite yet. And usually being a female in the like running with the men too, men always tend to like gun it right away, and like you sort of get absorbed in that, like, oh, I'm gonna go with them. But I had to remind myself just to run my own race. And so there's a pack of guys that were like pretty far up, and throughout the race I started inching my way up, and I ended up working with them. And then eventually, it was hard though, because it was a pretty narrow path actually.
It was very narrow, yeah.
So you really had to communicate and say like, hey, on your left, and just to make sure like You know, you're traveling the path like safely.
Yeah.
And but it was so much fun. It was one of those races where it felt like a roller coaster. Like you'd go up a hill and you could just bomb down a hill, and then it would turn a lot. And you know, it was one of those when you got the first lap done, you were like, okay, one lap down, one to go, you know. And I know for the second round, I felt a lot stronger, and it was just really fun to navigate those trails. And it's interesting, like from North Mitten to Hurt the Dirt, definitely totally different feels. But they both had very unique challenges. So I would say Hurt the Dirt, I really did enjoy that one a lot because it got me uncomfortable where I had to like push a little bit. And I knew there was another female athlete that it's like, it was hard because it winded so much that you didn't really know where the next group was. And like behind me, I don't know, I think she maybe finished not that much farther behind, but she, I could see her when we were running, you know, so I was like, oh, I have to work, you know, and it was a really, really fun race. So I really enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of curves in that course, I know. So yeah, you can look back kind of easily without, you know, doing that, you know, first sin of running, looking back over your shoulder. You can kind of still be looking forward and see over on the side. I think to fit it in where it's only two loops in that kind of park, it must have taken some work. It's more of a suburb than out in the country like North Mitten is. So
yeah, it certainly was it was nice being the two loops, but there was a bit of traffic because they put on such a
really long race too, isn't there?
There was a marathon, there's a half marathon, and then I think there was what was it, 10K then?
Yeah.
So there was the 3 races going on. They all sort of started at these like half-hour segments. So I think the 10K went off right before we did. It was probably a half hour, so it didn't take long for us to start to catch sort of the back.
But the
back
energy was amazing.
That was the most fun though.
You would pass them and you'd be just like hooting and hollering for each other, like great job, keep it up, you know. So, yeah, that was really cool.
And then with the whole curves and everything, you could almost carry a conversation for much longer than you normally would, because you'd say something to somebody, you roll around a curve, and then you're still like within earshot of the guy, so you could have like multiple sentence conversations out there. So it was actually a really fun race. And
did you notice the quotes on the trees too?
I
did. Oh. But there were like little quotes on the trees that were just like, they're like very witty or just very motivating, and they were really fun. I enjoyed them. So
the problem with me,
the Burma shave signs from long ago that they used to have along roads. I think it was copied after that.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Because I actually run without my glasses, so oftentimes I'm running, and so words don't really comprehend very quickly for me.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't see anything. So,
I loved it.
Great. But and then the race from my end, there was a strong runner. It was actually a young man from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
We actually talked for a long time after the race, just sitting there eating the post-race recovery meal, and just a great kid. And you know, he was strong. He pushed me for a long ways through the race. I could like feel his presence there, and then obviously with the turns, you could always kind of keep an idea of where he's at. And it took a while to shake him, but eventually it ended up just kind of being my own run race. And like the second lap, or the first lap was so eventful with the 10Ks, and then you got to the second lap, and then it became very desolate out there, especially for the first couple of miles of the second lap, because the marathoners were still running, but they were begun to be very spread out because they were in their third lap by that point. So it was kind of a really long time before you caught another runner. And so it made for a really interesting second lap, but you could run almost quicker because you didn't have to. Sometimes I was jumping into the off trail to get around a couple groups. Just, it was a skinny path, so you had to kind of make your own way if you're running much quicker. And so it was really fun to kind of have that dynamic between like the people in the beginning, and then you knew the trail for the second half, so you could really just run it as quick as you wanted to, and really see how well you could do.
Okay. And then the last event you ran in the series was Mount Baldhead Challenge, and those 300 plus stairs. So tell us about how those races went.
Yeah. So that one I actually really, really enjoyed. it started out almost, it was on pavement,
Yeah.
and it went up a hill right away too. So again, for me, I was mentioning how it takes me a while to warm up, that it felt very abrupt, and then, you know, it transitioned so much from pavement. I got into some trails. There was a sprinkler within like
Oh, that was
the
like a
first
first half mile.
the first half mile, which was pretty cool. I enjoyed it.
Just got muddy right away.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all.
It was good. And then there's a lot of pavement, and then, you know, it got in some really beautiful trails,
Yeah.
and it sort of went in and out. You were along the water a lot, and I would say as I was approaching the stairs, I was already pretty tired because there was a guy in front of me that I was like, you know, using as like a target, like, okay, I'm getting a little closer, or he's not getting much farther away. And so I got really close to him on the stairs. And at first I started to like run up the stairs, and then I quickly realized like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea, because my legs were starting to burn out and they're starting to get really, really heavy. And so I just sort of took my time a little bit up the stairs. And the best part though is when you got to the top,
Oh,
it was like
awesome.
a big sand
It's
mountain.
the most fun going down that thing.
Yeah, so you were just like I was galloping down, and it was so much fun.
Almost wanted to do it again. It was so fun.
Yeah. Going up the stairs was super. I mean, it was a challenge, and it was amazing. But going down was the fun part. But the most challenging part was the end, because there were these dunes that you had to climb, and there was a lot of sand dunes.
Open sand dune, yeah.
And there were people everywhere. And being like the first female in the race, it's really fun because they'll, you know, you're the first girl power, you know, and it was just a really fun event, as far as just people cheering you on and let you know where you are in the race. And on the top of every hill, they're like, oh, it's just a hill, you'll be fine, you know. And it was just really fun. And the end was very challenging. It was you were running along the shoreline, and you had the choice, like, do I run in the sand or do I run on the shore to get my feet really wet? And if you do a mix of both, you're going to cake on a lot of sand on your shoes. So a lot of runners, they were running barefoot, I noticed, because it was sort of out and back. You were passing runners as you were headed to the finish line. And it was a really challenging finish, but that one was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed going to the town after.
Yeah.
And it was really, really a good experience. And yeah, it's hard to pick which one's your favorite, because they're all so unique. So.
Okay, and anything else to add to that?
Oh yeah, I had a unique experience on that race. You know, like Kaylin mentioned, it was a great mix of trails, and literally the race T-shirt says mixed terrain, because it started on pavement and went into like the sandy dune trails, and then back onto pavement, and then more like sand trails. And there was this one great opening that I do remember. It's a vista that the locals have a name for it. It's such a great view, and I remember coming to that point and just looking out, and, you know, kind of high up, just see the whole lake, and it was just gorgeous. It was a really wonderful, you know, spot to be. And I wish I wasn't racing, because I would have loved to have sat there for 10, 20 minutes or longer and just kind of taken it all in. But I know there was a couple spectators there, so they had the right idea. That's the perfect spot to watch the race.
Yep.
And then, you know, you continue on through some more trails and sort of wind back. There was one point I know that we were going against runners who were heading out, and I was coming back. So that was a really fun like interaction halfway through, and it's actually right before the big stairs. So you kind of get this whole energy amp going into it, and then you turn to hit the stairs and like, oh my goodness, this is, you know, quite a climb. But I just had a goal. Like, I thought it was going to be 21 segments of stairs. So I was just counting in my head, like, that was 1, that was 2, you know, that was 3, you know,
Like a flight.
yeah, a flight of stairs. And so I got to like 10, and I'm like, okay, I'm halfway there. I was pleasantly surprised there was only 17, at least, that I counted. So I was like, oh, hey, I'm at the top already. I thought I had 5 more or whatever it was to get up there. But like, and then Kaylin mentioned going down was quite a blast. But then when we got onto the beach and everything, I actually got lost. And it was a bit of my navigation, not knowing the course. So I ended up running. I knew I had to go out towards the pier. So I ended up running along the beach the whole way out, thinking this is the course, because I didn't see any markers. Again, blind. So I ran all the way to the end, and there's a guy sitting there, and I asked him, like, am I going the right way? He's like, no, you're supposed to come in from over there. So I literally run like almost a mile down the beach, and then I turned around, ran back down the beach to get back to where I was supposed to go, and then ran the whole beach loop again. So I ran like another extra mile and a half on that race. Just apparently couldn't get enough of it.
Still beat everyone.
Yeah, actually got fourth in that race. Surprisingly, like there ended up being 3 guys. There was 2 masters and an open racer. I think who had got me.
Oh,
But thankfully that I had the race, you know, the Open Michigan Race Series kind of wrapped up by that point. So the second place didn't hurt me so much. But it was one of those that, you know, always know the course runners out there.
Yeah.
because they have you listed. Oh, I'm sorry. I wrote down wrong. Okay. That makes more sense. I've been saying all along, when I copied in my notes, I got you as first. You're second in that one. See, that's the one I didn't photograph of the 3 that you did.
Yeah, so it was a fun race though.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, and like she said, you know, we use these races sort of as our destination vacation. So there's an excuse for 3 great trips throughout the state of Michigan just to explore the state we live in.
Okay. Well, now looking forward to next year. We don't have the events in the series planned out yet. They asked me for some suggestions. I haven't had a chance to go over that yet. I'll be talking to Nick in a few days. But then whatever we do run, I assume you are going to join us for at least some of these events. Try and repeat.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to look at the list as well to sort of see, you know, that what I didn't see. I don't know if I saw trails or not actually too much on there, but we're always down for a whatever challenge, if it's road, if it's a little longer distances,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, so we're excited.
Yeah, we'll definitely be taking a look at the list, see if it works out with our, you know, future plans for next year. And I know I'm personally going to be doing a marathon in the spring, and
Yep.
I think Kaylin's going to be racing some track races as well. So it's going to be a
half marathon I'm gonna do.
Yeah, so just kind of you know, seeing wherever our running journey takes us next year. And we always like we're actually pretty bad about signing up early for races. So it's one of those things of, you know, if it works out, we go for it. And when we do, we go all in. So it's just we love racing, and so more opportunities the better.
Yep.
Okay, well, good luck next year, and thank you for talking with us. And we'll see you out on the trails and roads.